Okay, actually, let me see. Is there any judges around? Wait, did I just lose an app on my phone?
Hello there.
Hey, Mr. Bailey, it's Soze. I got a new phone, threw the other one away so Bones didn't have my phone number. He was harassing me and told me he wanted to talk to me about parole or something, so.
Parole there. Did you get parole?
I've got no idea. He said he was going to send documents over, but I threw my phone away before he could, so I'm not sure if I've got the documents yet.
Well, that's interesting because there was just common law passed today that they have to do the best damn faith effort to contact all known numbers between any known number of the person.
Oh. Well, hopefully you don't share this number out.
What can I help you with there, Soze?
So, listen. Bones took my weapon license, and I did have a weapon, so I threw the weapon on the side of a highway because I didn't want to carry the weapon on me to a police station, like I would have delivered a car safely to a police station, because that is the safest place for it. So it's just on the highway where somebody could randomly grab it or crash into it or, you know, pick it up, shoot somebody, maybe die, you know, shit like that, because that's what they told me in the court, that, you know, don't do the safest thing, do what's just, you know, somewhat safe. Anyways, do you know if
So you think a loaded weapon is safe?
No, of course not. Not on the highway, and I don't think a car parked on the highway is safe either. That's why they put the emergency lanes there and big warning signs and shit like that, but it's irrelevant to the point I'm making. Do you know if Grain's around?
Well, I did see him also spiraling about something in regards to government facilities and confusion. He was on Twitter not long ago, yes.
Oh.
Maybe the two of you could have a little tinfoil hat powwow.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I was trying to pick his brain and trying to understand, you know, what's going on.
So is this you asking me for his number?
Well, no, I was going to see if you were near him or so. I just assumed that you guys would be having like a judge meeting or some shit because he's awake, but I don't fucking know.
No, son, I am once again out in the lake here right now.
Oh, you just fishing. Is it legal to fish with nets, by the way?
Well, technically there is no legislation in regards to it not being illegal. But yes, it is legal at this point. Same thing with these branded hook names, illegal hooks.
But technically it says that the mayor does have examples of power in which he could create a new law enforcement agency on the water in which police could charge you for things. So technically now it's in existence according to PCP 2.0 and Mr. Adams, I believe, and his logic in the law.
This is the same conversation you and I just had about the cart before the horse leg.
My bad. Hey, listen, I'm gonna go grab some food. Is it possible by chance that like maybe you guys want to meet up, get some judges, and see if it's at least we could have a discussion about this sensibly and try to pick brains on what makes sense and what doesn't make sense. And listen, at the end of the day, I'm only doing it because I want to know the answer. And if he's the brains of everything, then surely he's gonna at least define it in a way that we should be able to portray to people.
So you want to have a conversation with Crane, but with everybody else around?
Well, you, Crane, Angel, I'm sure would come. I don't know what other judges there, but I'd love to pick brains, and, you know, I like this shit. I enjoy it. That's why I do it. And I'm sure it's the same for you and Angel, and, you know, I just talked to her, and she seemed pretty, you know, interested in discussing law and the philosophies of it, which is what a judge or a good law enforcement officer should do, in my opinion.
Just give me a sec. Just jumped in the water.
Oh, yep. Don't worry. Your phone's probably waterproof.
Yeah, working on that. Sorry about that.
Listen, I mean,
I can call him.
You can say no.
I'll see
I don't
if.
mind.
Oh, listen, I will call and offer if that's what he wants to do with it. I don't mind having conversations. I think you understand that I don't mind having conversations with people.
Has he changed a bit? He sort of looked like the ghoul out of Fallout a bit. You know, the old dying guy.
Hold on, calm down with the old part.
Well, listen, you can look old but not aged. This man looks old and aged. He's like he looks like mold, whereas you're like cheese. You know, you still hold your grit and look alright and whatnot. He's like the moldy cheese, though. Like his nose is about
What happens with blue cheese then?
I mean, still, yeah, kinda. You're right, but at the same time, it's sort of gross and smells funny.
Gorgonzola.
I don't fucking know what the fuck that is. Okay, is that a jurisdiction somewhere?
Sir, no, it is not. All right, listen, do you want me to give him a call? I'll ask him. If not, I mean,
Yeah,
here's
I
what I'm
mean,
going to say. If he says no, do you still want Angel or not? If
oh, I
not, you
mean,
just want.
I
I
just,
think I understand where you're going with this, but I want to understand what your objective here is with it.
I want to hear people that will argue the point so I can understand the point. I mean, you guys can come. It's up to you guys. I'd love to just talk to him in general, but if you guys want to be there, that's totally fine. The more the merrier, you know?
All righty, let me give him a call. And
I want to philosophize on the law and understand the law.
You want to have a debate, apparently, as an insane person.
I want to ask, well, no, I go to psych eval, and apparently I'm sane as fuck, goddammit. I told them everything about the court case.
Or sane as fuck?
No, I'm sane. I'm completely sane.
Well, you were spouting off that you're insane the other day. Do you have two split personalities, my friend?
Oh, no, I'm acting insane because I'm not sure if the medical professional has the authority to deem me as clinically sane, considering it was only given authority by the doctors and not the mayor, because that's how it works, right? The mayor is the person who says everything. Like,
well, you did say that they were the keeper of the hotel, my friend.
Yeah.
Or the apartment, rather, if you want to consider it that way.
Yeah, the private apartments.
Uh-huh.
Private people would live in. So technically, they would have power when, I guess, the doctor's sleeping, but not when the doctor walks outside to the hospital. Anyways, listen, I'm gonna go get some food. You want to just give him a call, see if he's around? If not, it's fine. I'm sure he's busy. I just loved. In fact, if you could get Jackson, fucking, whatever the fuck those other assholes' names are, so I can, you know.
But I've seen them once in like 5 blue moons here.
Yeah. Yeah, very detached from the reality of what this world is, I feel like. Hey, listen, if you can do it, it's good. If not, whatever. I don't give a fuck. I've already talked to Angel for a while, and, you know, obviously we had the conversation yesterday, so I'm not sure it needs to happen, but at the same time, if you two are willing to just chat and, you know, bounce ideas and what our perception of the law is, I'm down to do it. I'm not going to say no.
All right.
It's up to you. Just, you know, fill us in. Let us know, pal.
All right. Sounds good. Okay. I'll get back to you.
Shit, at this point, we might as well have a meeting with every fucking legal professor there is. Get fucking lawyers there, fucking judges, any fucking law enforcement guy, and just have fucking hash some shit out, dog.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Good night.
Because it's got to be very interesting to hear everybody's perception on things. I've only got $300 fucking dollars. I gotta get some fries. Hello? Feel for Nino right now? I mean, I think he'd be good to having a conversation like that. The reality with Nino is he's going to have a bad rep because he's going to fight for criminals more than anything, I feel like. Which, like I said, isn't a bad thing. It's just the reality of the perceived people that don't play much in the server. I got to pay it. And that's why I think judges that aren't around much are not good at all, honestly. I feel like all judges should be elected. All power in police should be elected. Anything that's wireless and with a power needs to be elected and also disposable. So when they get elected, though, it's not something where they need a specific time, I don't think. Like, they don't need to just be like, you know, you only get it for 2 days. Like, if impeachment is capable to be there, then I don't think it's a necessity that those restrictions are added either. So really, it doesn't enforce a cycle. It allows a cycle, if that makes sense. And it also allows for more like running situations where it's like, yo, do I want to do I want to push things, but also like, you know, it's not just the mayor election. There'll be a sheriff election. There'll be fucking judge elections, you know, things that matter to certain groups. Even like how the lawyers and shit work. I feel like having an election for the people that run, you know, certain things, like in the head of bar and shit like that. Obviously, it would be contained to certain people being able to get there. Like, you wouldn't be able to just fucking go be a sheriff without any, like, logic. You'd still be picked from a pool, but the election part being relevant, in my opinion, means a lot, so. People don't want to lose. Oh. Hello?
Hello there. Did you check Twitter? I think there's your answer.
Well, I checked. Well, I'm gonna just have a look here. I see 2 eyeballs. What am I looking for exactly?
Crane.
I'd rather milk my own prostate than debate the concept of law. Why would you debate the concept of law?
I say the philosophy.
I guess he perceives 2 things differently. Hey, so what, is this guy okay? Is he mentally deranged?
I am not qualified to make any of those decisions.
Oh,
hang
on a second. Hang on. Let me have another look here. I just gotta check something. Oh, he said concept of the law. Maybe he meant concept from prostate. Then I'd rather milk my own prostate than debate. I mean, he wanks, right? Is somebody like he probably wanks.
I mean, at that age, son, I don't particularly do that anymore. I'm quite up there.
For me, this is not conclusive because this could, like, he's old. He probably has to put his finger in his ass and massage his prostate to even get an erection. Let me just make a reply and see if.
All right, well, you two can have at it. You do your thing. You with him. I don't know what the hell's, but y'all have that discussion.
In semantics. Anyways, that's all good. I mean, but you know, that's cool. Hey, I guess I'll see you around, pal. You take care out there.
All righty.
Appreciate it.
Will. Uh-huh.
Let me save that number as Bailey. Wait a second. You don't think he's taking hostage or something, do you?
No, he answered the phone just fine when I was having a conversation with him.
Do you think they could have said...
He didn't wink twice on the phone.
Oh, so what did he say exactly? Did he say that specifically?
Yes. Then I said, I don't think I can deliver one-liners as good as you. And he said, you know what, I'll just twat it out.
That's a shame because it doesn't really answer the question. There's a lot of men that finger their ass, I'm sure, and wank and shit. I've heard it's the G-spot, so...
Well, maybe that's enjoyable. Maybe that's the second most enjoyable thing for him to do afterwards is debate the concept of law.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So maybe he does want to debate the law, but he wants to wank first, so he's got a clear, you know, post-nut clarity or whatever it is.
Do you think? Oh,
that's what
I'm thinking. You think that's the way to go about things?
Well, I mean, you know, semantics. I can't tell. You can't argue them, so I guess that's just what I'm going to believe.
Right. Well, maybe y'all can seek some clarity together. Have like once again, maybe a tinfoil hat convention, Kingdom Come, whatever the hell you want to have.
I mean, if he doesn't want to debate law, then I don't think there's much point there, Mr. Bailey.
Uh-huh.
Interesting.
I can't force someone. It's not my prerogative. I can only offer.
The worst part about it is I don't know.
Taylor,
hey, would you be able to just ask one question?
Yeah, I don't know about that.
If a law isn't created, does a law exist?
Is this like if a tree falls in the woods, does it really, type of thing? Is that what it is? Is that what you're getting at on that one?
Yeah, because maybe he lives in that fantasy world where if you get authoritative legislation or authority, that means you have everything. I don't know. Listen, the world's changed. It's whatever at this point. I think we'll just let the citizens resolve the problem because...
I don't think that's been working, my friend. The citizens haven't been able to resolve any issues. Unfortunately, it seems like...
You'd be very surprised what the power of people can do. They just
Well,
haven't done it
son,
yet.
I have witnessed... I've witnessed that. I have been shot at. I have witnessed multiple people being shot at.
And the mayors. I mean, if this mayor gets impeached, people will really see the failure in which, the reality is. The thing is, with people that stick in their bubble and don't talk to, the people, they don't understand the people. And I mean, if this guy is willing to say he doesn't want to argue the concept of law or even talk about the philosophy, in which would be just like, not an argument, more so an understanding of, I can see why people would have issue and distrust and distaste in what is going on here.
Well, frankly, I do believe he comes from a very good place with things. I believe that he was surrounded more with a negative situation that he found himself into.
Oh, what situation did he get into? I haven't.
They would be Max and Siobhan.
And by that, how exactly do you mean he found him in a,
they were elected into that position. Not like he chose them. And typically you get lumped in as a whole with this. Now, technically, yes, you can say that he voted on things or other people voted on things, yes. But it is one of those things of who you surround yourselves with, you're typically thrown into the same thing with.
Sure.
I do think he means well.
Yeah, sure. I mean, when he just had the option to speak freely to people, he denied it. So I'm not sure you're quite on the same. This might be some coping you're on there. So listen. I get your point with that as well. But if he had an issue with anything that I was saying, even after, is there a reason why she'd be calling him Mr. Crane Daddy? Or something like that, because I've been told
I'm sorry.
There's words on the street that these guys were actually they were making families without the state knowing. You hear about that?
Well, there was the adoption law at some point, and then that was taken away afterwards.
Well, maybe they didn't do it behind their backs then, but if Siobhan's calling him Daddy, I mean, listen, it either means... I don't know what that fucking means, okay? But something's going on here.
So, are you trying to imply something right now? Do you think they have something behind closed doors and Daddy's a code word for something or what?
I don't know. I have no idea what it means. But that's just what apparently the word on the street is, that they've been, saying stuff like that. So, I don't argue semantics. I can't argue it, and I don't want to argue it, so it's up to you to interpret that. I have no idea, honestly, and I don't want to argue it because I don't like to.
I don't want to interpret that at all, then. I don't want to envision that whatsoever.
Well, the point I'm making is either way, I think there's a little more to the bullshit that you think he is as a person. I believe if this is the case, he adjusted to what he thought the people needed and the power around him rather than the reality of the people. That's what I think.
So I told you this story about 6-7 years ago. He came up to me as a normal lawyer.
Yeah, I know. He used to fight because he saw what the people wanted. That's what the people wanted. Now he's lost in the sauce.
You know what? I believe there's some good in there. I don't know. Are you lost in the sauce as well, Soze? I just have to ask the question.
No, it doesn't. The difference is, no matter what badge I had, no matter what suit I had, no matter what I wore, that wasn't my definition. That isn't what defines me. And the reality is, the people that change in a way that is based on the people around them or what they wear are always going to be like that. It isn't something that just happens randomly. They were always like that. If they might have worn a disguise to begin with, so be it. So be it. But when they show their colors later, You can't let them fool you multiple times on the reality of the person they are. Okay, you know, I've been in a police uniform, and I've completely you know, put police in handcuffs. I've even jailed a few cops. You know, I've done everything, and I've also let criminals go. It's not because I was a police officer enforcing the law. It's because I was a human enforcing the morals and the concept of humanity. Right? This person, I don't think is doing that. I don't think this person's a good person. That's how I see it. I just don't think they're good as a person. And now they've shown it.
Son, we live in a city where individuals, if they have a disagreement, would rather put a bullet into somebody's head than actually have a conversation.
That is true.
I think our
Very
standards of good people have changed over time, where violence seems to beget the most. That's a standard. So, yes, while conversation cannot be had, there's much worse people than that. And frankly, listen, not all is lost, I don't think.
You're very much right, because there was a guy I tried to talk to about the laws of this city, and he told me to put my hands behind my back, pulled out a weapon on me, and then tackled me into a police building and said, "If you run away from me, I'm going to shoot you." And then he went to a court case and said, you know, the differences of that. He implied the differences of that. So you're very much right.
You can just say bones at this point.
The point is, it isn't an outfit. It isn't a badge. It's a person. It isn't a judge. It's a person. The person is the person. The badge and what's on the outside is completely irrelevant. I'm walking around right now in a fucking tinfoil hat, a bear suit, black pants, and orange shoes. People will look at me and think differently, but I think the same. They're the people that change, not me. It's the inside that makes the person. It's the inside that changes. Nothing else.
You know, that's telling, because I just had a conversation with Suarez today as well, who was trying to hold PD accountable, an ex-cop. Meanwhile, the person that he was trying to hold accountable, he killed. Isn't that ironic?
The morals of that man was he is not a good person, if that's the case.
But this person was a cop for how long now?
Well, that's the point. It wasn't the suit, was it? It was the person.
No, correct. But it's also might be the people he's associating with.
Yes, that's what I say. The reality is, I know he associates with Chen Gang now. But the first thing I said to those guys is, while we might have some sort of mutual understanding and common issues, I'm not going to sit here and tell you I'm going to be your fucking best friend. I ain't going to do it. That's because that's me, not my uniform. If he wants to change as a person, that's fine, but it wasn't because of the uniform. It was just because he's swayable on his environment and he doesn't have his own morals. He's a shapeshifter. They're the devils of society. The people that are good are the ones that don't really change. Unless it's for the good. It's for the better. If they keep their morals and whatnot, I don't think... I mean, look at me. I shot cops. And I'd fucking do it again if I had to defend what I thought was right, and what I think is right is defending the state and a rebuilding of a state that doesn't have a tyrannical power, because that's what consumed us the first time. If you don't understand and preach what you're doing as a police officer, DOJ, anything, you're a failure to the people around you.
I don't disagree with that. That's very accurate.
Well, you know, I'll say it over and over again. It doesn't matter what position you're in. It's irrelevant. You got to look at the person.
It's not irrelevant there.
I don't think so.
Yes, correct. You do have to look at it.
Allowed a mayor that broke the Constitution in itself under the agreements of perjury and impeachment to run for mayor. Okay? He allowed this to happen under his view just because... What, exactly? It doesn't say anything. If you go by the letter of the law like you motherfuckers like to when it suits you, he had every opportunity to not allow that man to run, because it says if you were ever convicted of a crime inside San Andreas by a court, then you were impeachable. It doesn't say when. It doesn't say anything about, the 30-day, 60-day bullshit. That's when you want to charge somebody. But if he's already impeachable, he wouldn't be able to run because he wouldn't meet the guidelines to run as a mayor. And this is
so
where
what you're saying is that
what
7 years ago...
What I'm saying is he's a fucking delusional asshole, and he will bend and twist things to suit his narrative, just like anybody else that's a fucking delusional asshole. He will bend the law when the laws can be bent, and when it wants to be done straight by the law, he will say you cannot bend that law. He is a one-sided, delusional asshole. And the fact that he posted that shit on Twitter only proves my point. He got into bed with a known terrorist, knowing that it was an impeachable offense to have been guilty at any point in time, not just in the last 30 days. He got into bed with them, allowed them to be a mayor, allowed this to all happen. He allowed everything. He signed on these things that went against the Constitution, went against anything. But when a man returns a vehicle to the police department on a joyriding charge, he won't stand there and say, you know what? He probably did what was right here because all he was doing was making people safe around him. It's because he didn't want to allow the bending of the laws, and the people under him are the same. Jackson, Adams, all in the same bunch. They all hang around fucking the prosecutors. They all talk to the prosecutors. They all talk to the council. It's the same group of people. They're just pieces of shit. They don't want to use the law and argue it and make the law better. They just want to do what they want to do. They're a fucking hive mind, and they are glued together now because they believe they are the power and the authority, not the power or authority of the state. They just think they are good. They are good. They are wrong. They're shitty people, is what I'm saying. I can't...
no, I understand what you're saying with this.
Listen,
frankly, like I said.
You need to remember as well, these guys didn't question me. They didn't ask me anything about the entire situation. They only based everything off what they saw in images and what was told by Bones, a man that doesn't under jurisdiction or anything like that. They didn't even want to talk to me or try to understand the logics of what happened. They painted their narrative, they shared it with their friends, and then I was prosecuted. Even when I said to that judge at the end, I gave him the analogy of the jurisdictions, and he still was like, oh, he still did it. These guys are assholes. And they have no fucking understanding of what the fuck they're saying. Imagine using an example of power in which you could create as the reason that they had the power without creating it. That's what I went to jail for. This is the shit I got to put up with, and people will just okay. I can only imagine why people hate these people. It's frustrating.
Did you speak with Angel about her deliberation with Adams? She spoke with me today, and I don't want to put words in her mouth, but she had an interesting perspective. Now, keep in mind, I did the first one. She was with the second one.
Parts of it, yes, sure. And like I said, this is the thing. Some will be the letter of the law, and then some of it bends to suit a narrative. Rather than, are we here for due process and what is the most probable situation? What is the reality? Do we care about people? Is this safety measure in the Constitution really about protecting safety, or am I just going to use it as a net where I see fit to bend that law where I want? Because it does say in the Constitution, while it does say I have a right to defend myself with a weapon, it implies that it's there to protect the people around me and imply that there's a safety, an okay safety net to be safe for the humans in this world. And I ask, if you can't bend that to say, hey, it's logical that he drove that fucking car there. He just drove it off the highway. It was a 1 minute drive, 10-year state trooper. It seems pretty reasonable and safe that was probably the safest thing to do in that situation. Why would you put someone in jail for joyriding? Because they didn't want to bend the law in that circumstance. That's why.
I get what you're saying with this. Believe me.
It's the Constitution.
You're preaching to a choir in terms of people that are willing to listen to things.
Okay, listen, either way, you want to bounce that. I see, we had a discussion, and there was some discussion back and forth, and she said she agreed with some things and didn't agree with some things. And to be fair, that's what I prefer to hear. You know, someone that will sit there and talk to you and argue their point, not say, hey, you know, you're fucking dumb and you're going to jail.
Well, I gave her the analogy, essentially, the one that you just said with regards to power without creating power, and she did actually agree with that and said it was an interesting concept.
Well, consider this as an even more interesting concept to why it's even more relevant. If we were a failed state and we have broken away from the Constitution of America and other states and their laws, we shouldn't have any law except for what is based on our authority and our legislation. Correct? Is that not logical?
Correct.
So, if the law isn't written, the law doesn't exist.
Correct.
Right. And when they say we have created law enforcement agencies inside Los Santos and Los Santos County, and it's even written on the side, you know, I would assume now, you know, that's pretty understandable. They've got jurisdiction there. But if they haven't written, okay, now we're making Blaine County under this jurisdiction, or they have power in this jurisdiction, then how the fuck is it a law? It isn't written. I don't understand. It even says in their PCP that they have powers to do so, but if it isn't written, it isn't law. So what I say, in my opinion, they don't have jurisdiction there and they don't have the right to detain me. But they do have the right to detain me when I'm in the city and process me on those charges. Because the you know, it's still like how a warrant would work anywhere else, and they've got the authority to do it there.
So let me ask you a question then. Do you believe that PCP should have been passed?
I'd have to reread it again, but I don't think it's necessarily wrong. It implies that they have the power to do it. So all they need to do now is have the mayor write the legislation to say, I'm creating a law enforcement, Blaine County. Its jurisdiction is Blaine County. And under this, since these two law enforcements are already tied together, they would share jurisdiction rights under, you know, the separate authority.
Well, I do believe that some... yes, it would. But I also do believe somewhere within there it states that if this passes and the state holds all power basically to contest and to veto any legislation that has been passed. So there's also that conundrum that says if the state's basically pissed off, they can do whatever the hell they want with it. But they haven't done anything quite yet.
Right, but it's not saying they have the power there. Why would they complain about it? I don't get it. Why would the state say, hey, it doesn't say you have jurisdiction here? They just signed it. Why would they complain? I don't get it. What do you mean?
Well, it's almost like I know you're wearing a tinfoil hat, but do you believe in aliens, son?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen UFOs and crazy shit, so kinda.
All right. So you take the concept, maybe aliens actually exist and live behind us, and they're essentially the same community that tells us or gives a guiding hand and says, don't make this weapon because you're going to blow yourselves up. It's very similar to something that we do with chimpanzees as well. You know that we actually live amongst chimpanzees or have documentation of 20-something plus years of living with them, and you tell them as they start evolving or you guide them in directions so they don't, once again, kill themselves and blow themselves up.
Okay.
Could the state not be doing the same damn thing at some point?
I mean, I guess, but why would they do that if we're the people?
They just agree with that, everything.
Yes.
No, that's, I guess, what I'm asking with this.
Well, it also is implied that the people that funded us weren't necessarily the government, so who knows?
And who was it?
I don't know. You'd have to look at fucking some. I doubt we'd have the authority to get those transcripts.
Well, I mean, if we want to go back to our forefathers and brought forth upon this nation type of style and who defined the actual things of government around here, then that's way long ago.
I mean, the simple thing is we have the authority to create law all across San Andreas,
Correct.
And they have the ability to stop it if they don't like it. So all we
Correct.
have to do is write the law, and if they don't like it, they'll tell us.
Correct. They haven't stopped anything yet, so it seems like everything's fine. Except for the people probably running it, but still.
Well, yes. We can assume it's fine. The reality is, I mean, if bank accounts go up and whatever, I don't think they even look into it.
Fair enough. You say, hold on now.
So,
what are you inferring there?
Consider this.
I'm considering. What are you trying to say with me on this one? I like my
Oh.
money in my bank account, son.
Yeah, just where did all the money go 5 years ago, buddy? Just magically disappeared, huh?
Listen, you can blame my nephew for that one.
And then magically, we don't have no documentation of where anything went, what happened. We just told, hey, go make your laws down here. You got a legislative authority, and, you know, here's some bank accounts. Here's even an apartment to live in. Go make money.
Well, yes, but hold on. Let me think about this.
The only way I could
be
argue
very careful
this
I say
law,
this.
if there was a DOJ that would be above them, in which I could appeal to, but there isn't, because that's not the laws that are written here. Essentially, we've been given an entire fucking state and said,
Correct.
Stop building.
Correct, and it's still ground level right now.
Right. So I'd say, what about this? Okay. If a landmass popped up around us that was still, in the state, do we now own that landmass?
If it pops up, no, technically not.
Okay. We'd have to write something in legislation that the state okay to be okay.
What if they exist amongst something else, or they was part of someplace else that just got lost and went on the other way? It's like Hawaii. That might have been part of California at some point.
Right. But, if you tell the authority above you that, allows that sort of thing, you can make a claim to it. And if it's not contested, then it's just how it is, right? But in saying that, if we found out this island was directly in the middle of a line that went to a state next to us, then we'd contest to the federal government, wouldn't we? We wouldn't talk to our state governments.
Well, correct, because now you're crossing lines.
Right. No, not because we're crossing lines, because it is being contested.
Well, there's a larger system above that. That's federal within nature, and if you're going to actually contest it between different states or provinces of this matter, well, then yes, it would go to there.
Right.
Because there is line defining amongst the entire nation.
Exactly. So a municipal government, if it wanted to go to another municipal location, would require to talk to the state to authorize it legally. Right.
Yes, they would. Correct.
To create another governing agency, like a sheriff's department in another county, you would have to okay it with them before it would happen, which is the entire
The PCP too, right there.
Well,
as you were saying, that could happen, but did it?
He didn't. He said he could. Well, technically, he made the department, but he didn't make a claim on the jurisdiction. But in saying that, like I said, he might have also been under the assumption that maybe they didn't need that. But that's a different reality. You can make a law and be informed that you're wrong, right? And then it can be changed later. It happens 100 years later, 50 years later. It doesn't matter. It could be tomorrow. That doesn't mean the law was right to begin with. Either way,
you actually make a very good point with that. And honestly, reality with this is that there is value in revisiting shit. Things that get approved. Hey, I'll take for example. I'm out here fishing. Okay, I fish up some rolled banded notes, whatever the hell this is, and I asked another judge. I said, Gatsby, the hell am I doing with this? I got it from fishing. She looks at me a little shocked and says, well, I don't want that. Said, why not? And I'll just turn that back into the police. Well, right. She said, I'll turn that back into the police there. I gave the same thing to Angela. She said, I don't want that. Oh, why not? It's not illegal there. I know what they're going for.
You only have to hand it in if it's 10 grand or something, don't you? Some shit like that, or over a certain amount.
It's 15,000, but reality with it is, what defines dirty money? I found it fishing.
Money with
Finders keeper. Is it? I found that fishing in the damn checks doesn't have anyone's property on it. No ID with it. It's lost at sea. No one's claiming this thing.
Yeah, I mean...
Why is that considered dirty?
I mean, I guess it's got some fucking stains on it, so a vendor probably ain't gonna accept it until, you know, they know it's a real note. Makes sense to me.
But the reality and the shock value that both of them exhibited, to me, is why don't we ask the damn question as to what it is and why won't you take it? Why do you think this is illegal?
Well, it ain't illegal. Ain't no law to say it would be illegal just because it's got some dirt on it. What do you mean?
Correct. That's exactly correct.
Well, that's another good analogy to prevent assumptions and start using what is written in the Constitution, because assumptions are not correct unless it's based on a fact, and somehow you'd be correct. But you know, no one's gonna believe someone talking some shit compared to the fact of the situation if it's, you know, detailed properly. I don't understand the question behind that. It could. I mean, I assume it's because we used to get dirty bills back in the day from crime. You know, when people would rob a bank, but they'd just be marked with some ink or something like that. You know, if they go clean it, it's still the same money. You just don't have the ink on it.
Correct.
So, you know, usually it would be received as evidence because, you know, it's likely if you just robbed the bank and you had money with fucking shit all over it, that was likely from the fucking bank.
Correct. Mine's from fishing. What the hell's the difference?
Yeah, well, I think there's a big difference either way between, you know, dirty or rolled bills and, you know, something that's clearly, you know, stolen from somewhere with evidence.
Correct. I don't disagree.
I mean, yeah. So listen, I think if we want to create a law system that is understanding of the authorities that's passed down, if you are an authority of the state, you know, like an agent of the state, you need to, you know, you're allowed to make the laws that would be statewide, but you're still not, you know, the state. You don't have every right to do anything either. So I don't
That's
understand.
exactly what you're saying with the damn mayor. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, there's a simple analogy for me with this as well. So imagine America got wiped off the map, okay? But somehow we had California and New York were around. So they were what was left, right? I'm curious. They both had a governor. They were both given authority from the state to say, hey, listen, you can make whatever legislation you want. We'll pass it. And, you know, if there's a conflict, then, you know, we'll do something about it. So the New York mayor's like, fuck, man, I'm just going to fucking post some fucking shit to this guy and try to take over, what's it called? The California, even though I'm on the other side of the planet. You know, I got that authority to do so. But the other guy sees and he's like, no, I'm going to contest this. We'll have it passed because it's contested and the state will have to look at it, right? And, well, it's looked at, and it's like, no, you're not doing that shit. There's no need to. There's a power entity there right now, and they've got authority. They're running things well. While you are in New York, and I do appreciate it, you still have the same rights to do it later or whatever, you know, based on the legislation, but you're not going to do it, okay? That governor gets fucking murdered for some reason. He just fucking dies. Maybe his head gets fucking chopped off by a low-flying airplane, and he explodes, and his intestines come out his ass, and there's no governor there no more.
I think it's pretty graphic there, friend.
But they still have their base jurisdictions and, you know, what would be there. But technically, the governor in New York says, hey, I'm going to file for this because there's no state authority over there that can push for it and deny it. It gets passed through, right? He gets over there. What exactly changes? Considering they'd have their own jurisdictions, their own laws, their own everything written in the codes. Does anything change by hand, or do they have to make the changes?
You're saying if they take it over, technically?
Well, the governor just moves there and he starts. He has the same authority there now, and they've accepted it.
If they've accepted it, and so not forcefully.
Well, he put the legislation in because he was dead, and it
Uh-huh.
couldn't get contested because the other governor was dead. That would be the process. He'd have to see it and be, oh, I don't want this bill to pass. I'm gonna contest this. But because he was dead and there was no representative to follow through, he put it through, and it was automatically accepted because nobody could vote against it. So the bill is accepted. So he goes over there, and now he runs that place. But he hasn't written anything else to say that the laws are changing there or anything. He's just gonna, go over there. Why would anybody believe that now any law has changed?
Well, there's two bodies of thought with that. If it's taken over, that's a simulation. The second part to that is, unless they know any different, it's the same business as usual.
Yes. Well, they all fall under the same power that came from the federal government that said, hey, you guys can write the legislative authority for your own states or counties, if you wanted to deem it that way. But we would have authorized everything that came through on your level. We respect that. So, yes, you're right. The laws would be what they were before in that area because nobody has written anything to say anything different. So there's no law to change. So, tell me, if before this happened, the governor...
Unless New York declares that California is actually now as well New York.
Well, they could do that, sure, but they didn't. They just claimed to be the governor there as well with everything staying the same. There's no other request in the documentation. It's sort of irrelevant to the point. No matter what changes, it needs to be written. No matter what.
I don't disagree with you. We're agreeing and disagreeing on the same damn thing.
But the reason this sounds so much more logical is because New York and San Andreas are on the opposite side of America. So people will see it as a very big distance and be like, oh, yeah, I mean, there's a border between that. It's like 10 states. But the reality is those states are irrelevant because it's just a thick border. It doesn't matter how thick the border is. The border's still the same power. It doesn't change.
Correct.
So, I think when you elaborate in that sort of element, it's not about who the authority is, the name of them, anything. It is about the power of the authority. A municipal government has municipal power, not full-blown state power where they can do whatever the fuck they want. They need to ask for it from the state. It's so simple. If I'm a person inside a building, I need to ask to move to the next building across from me if, it's possible to do so. Even though I could technically just walk in there, there's nothing written to say I can do it, so I would get trespassed if somebody brought it up, or I would, whatever the law is, be fucked on with that. So it doesn't matter what the names of these authorities are. The authority and from and of is what these people don't understand. They just don't get it.
It doesn't matter. Yes, as you say, you can change or call it whatever the hell you want to, as long as the federal authority. It could be of Canada, it could be of the United States, as long as there's an overarching authority. Yes, of course.
So you can have a federal park ranger inside here that can only go to the national park, but then you can have a state park ranger that is allowed to traverse the entire state parks with more jurisdiction, just under a different understanding of their authority. So because the federal ranger is authorized by the federal government, that doesn't mean that federal ranger can tell the state park ranger what to do unless they're inside that jurisdiction.
Correct.
Right, so a police officer cannot tell me what the fuck to do unless I'm in his jurisdiction.
With reality, technically, yes.
Yeah.
I know this was your entire point, and you were getting at it, but yes.
Again,
I think that there's major flaws with it. I think we've all agreed with that.
The reality is here, pal, I mean, I can give 7,000 examples of how it doesn't make sense, and they
I
can't
know
give
you
me
can.
one that makes
You
sense. That's why it's so
I know
frustrating.
you can.
I don't want to argue the philosophy of the law. I want to know what the fuck they mean.
Well, he doesn't want to do that with you, so good luck on that one, unless you actually just catch him by the side. That's,
Nah. That's good. That tweet is good. I like it. You know, we got a few people that were willing to write up some documentation shit to pass on to the state, so that in itself, in my opinion, is good for the people.
Well, I mean, hopefully, I'll put a few documents to his desk that, in regards to your weapons license thing, that you were being charged for contested in your court case. When to find the entirety of the weapons license, hopefully that eventually gets passed. I did the FOIA legislation as well as one other one. I forget what the hell I did. Oh, fishing. Well, maybe those things change. No idea.
Yeah. Great. I mean, listen, it's nice to know that I had to fucking go to jail for 7 months and, you know.
Days now, son. Days now.
Yeah, whatever they want to call it. I know I'm happy that I had to get fucked in the ass for them, you know, to see, oh, hey, maybe I should do something, you know, and still sit there and think what they did over the last, 6 months was fine. Fuck them, I say. Fuck them. Oh, hey, my psych's here. I'm gonna go talk to my psychiatrist.
All righty.
Fucked in the head, pal. So talk to you later.
All right. Take care.